Greetings, Earthlings. This is R.J.B from Starcraft Cast YouTube channel, and today I've got some 2 versus 2 in store for you, and the names might surprise you. We've got KenseiPark here playing the Teal Protoss on the top, the middle left of the map, and he's teamed up with none other than KLGST Organ, also known as the Pro Player Piano, and their opponents are Jaehoon here playing the yellow Protoss. We've seen him here before. He loves playing fastest map. He loves it a lot. And then here on the top side, we've got Light, who also loves to play fastest map from time to time, and he's pretty darn good at it. I've got no idea how good Piano is at fastest maps, but given that we already kind of know how they play, they're going straight for mech, which is kind of how they also play on big game hunters, and they more or less have transferred that playstyle over to the fastest map. And that's mostly because they have amazing micro. If your micro is not amazing, don't do this build order. You gotta be very good at multitasking and microing at the same time. Micro macro, very important. As you can see, they start off with the 810 depot and the 810 refinery, followed up by a barracks on 10 supply. Both players are on about the exact same point. Piano being a little bit ahead of Light for a reason I missed, but I assume he just went for, he started making the barrack with the SCV that made the supply depot, whereas Piano pulled off an SCV before that. A little bit of harass going on from Jaehoon here, trying to do some damage to the SCV and make it die so it stops making the barracks. It is not going to work because he pulls off a very nice quick little toggle. So Jaehoon and KenseiPark are mirroring each other with their build orders. They start off with a pylon on 7-9, followed up by a gateway the moment the pylon spawns, and of course 2 more gateways and a pylon, and then a forge. Exact same build orders for these two players, not much variation going on in that regard, because honestly this is simply the best build order to go in this specific situation, because the Terrans need some support, so to speak, to get their factories up and running, because they can get harassed by a Protoss quite badly. And the great move here from KenseiPark, locking those SCVs there. You can still mine gas though, but it did slow him down a little bit, and that's completely worth it. I like the configuration he's doing here. He's making a small little wall with those 2 factories that is harder to get in there, but also can he make a bunker behind here and protect his entire little set of buildings there from attacks and harassment. Which leads to the next thing that's happening here. KenseiPark is trying to help Piano survive the harass from Jaehoon, but Jaehoon gets the edge on KenseiPark, but he does turn around and he goes for a fight against the Zealots. Now he goes for the Marines, gets us around on the Marines, and the Marines are going down. He made a pylon wall here, which is a very important detail. Though there's a small little hole here, maybe, I'm not too sure. But anyway, the point is he made a pylon wall, which is going to prevent the vultures from getting through and sneaking out into the middle of the map. So Jaehoon here retreating, and there we see it. He can't get through. He might be capable of bugging his vultures through this little hole here, although it's not really a hole. It's just is a reason it's called bugging it through. Now he has to force those vultures away so the cannons behind the pylon wall can get up. Prepping list for revision, and now Jaehoon is forced to retreat back to his cannon because the vultures are out. He does have gas on the way. He's got a cybernetics core on the way as well for the dragoons. Dragoons are the main countermeasure against those vultures, because zealots, they just get kited around, as we saw there. They get kited around or chased around. They kind of lose their functionality, so it's very important to get those dragoons up and running. KenseiPark going for a delayed cybernetics core, as opposed to Jaehoon went for a very, very early cybernetics core and very early gas. So his dragoons will be out way earlier, and he'll have some little bit more fighting power than KenseiPark does. KenseiPark was forced to invest in all of this to buy time and keep Light confined to his corner. Siege tank is out though. That's one of the requirements. He had to get that siege tank out earlier, whereas Piano is still sticking to only vultures, because he wants to get that advantage with the vultures. Whereas KenseiPark seemingly is not going for dragoons. He is there going for Dragoons, but he didn't queue up his Dragoon range. He's not going for Dragoon range yet. Whereas Jaehoon has Dragoon range on the way, but Jaehoon is now being forced back into his base because he's getting attacked and surrounded by all the vultures, and the vultures almost have their mine. He went for speed upgrade. Mine upgrade is now on the way. The Zealots at the same time are penetrating through the gateways and going directly for the cannons here. And he will be capable of taking down at least 2 cannons and some probes going down there as well. Dragoons being pulled back to take care of those Zealots, but now the vultures are going in here from the side as well, and they're going to hunt some probes. Although first they have to tear through Dragoon. All their cannons are going down now as well. Jaehoon is in a really bad spot. Honestly, I think Jaehoon might just be taking so much damage here that this game might be unrecoverable unless Light pulls off some amazing stuff. Has to be absolutely alright. Yeah, this game is... Jaehoon is dead. That's the bottom line here. Jaehoon has died, but likewise, it looks like Piano is on the receiving end of some aggression as well, because 8 vultures here have been unloaded inside of his base, and those vultures are tearing through those SCVs here on the low ground, and Piano has likewise, just like Jaehoon, lost almost all of his workers. Units are now being pulled back to Piano's base to try and salvage the situation, but there's only 3 SCVs left. Whereas Light is on 30, and Jaehoon actually got the upper hand there a little bit because he's on 8 probes, and he's got a couple of Dragoons, but it looks like... actually looks like he's actually... I'm wrong about the upper hand. It looks like he's going to die. Doesn't have minerals for an extra nexus. He will not mine enough in time. He's got 8 probes there, but those 8 probes are more or less useless now. Cannon fodder. He can, though, micro those Zealots to death with those Dragoons and build himself not really a lead. He can just stay alive and keep using those Dragoons for fighting. But as soon as Dragoons come out from KenseiPark once again, that is going to turn on its head. Light now going in for a drop on KenseiPark, but KenseiPark, having those pylons there on the top side, notices that dropships are flying over the map, and he fends them off heroically. Tanks, though, a single tank actually, being unloaded there up on the hill, and Light is now going to mine this entire area up. But KenseiPark already has his robotic facility on the way, so he will be capable of detecting those mines there and unblock himself. The block here is very slowly being pushed out, very slowly being removed. KenseiPark made a new line of cannons just to slow Light down, and it's quite annoyingly is slowing him down. Piano, a lot of mines are on the top side to prevent drops from being unloaded there on the top side, but he can still go for the main here. There's no mines here. Risk of placing mines too close to the SCVs is that if Light unloads on top of the SCVs, a mine will trigger and kill the SCVs for him, making his work easier. The Dragoon's now going to take care of the tank on the high ground, but a couple of missed shots because of the high ground mechanic. It's really OP sometimes. 50% hit chance. Eventually the tank does go down, and now he has to clear out all the mines on the middle of the map. And Light has broken free, getting his tanks out on the middle of the map and securing himself middle control. Jaehoon still has a single probe there, but the probe has no function left whatsoever. Didn't really make anything new because he didn't have the minerals for it. Loading tanks here up on the high ground, getting control over this area. He's on 41 SCVs against 14 from Oregon. Numbers flipped around. KenseiPark also on 42 probes, slowly pushing back, slowly pushing over the middle. But once he reaches those tanks, he will be forced to pull back unless he unloads. Zealots up on the high ground. And the Zealots might take care of the tank. Nope. Tanks stay alive. More tanks being unloaded there on the high ground. Light is playing this out really, really well. Only on 6 factories. Single starport. And very slowly progressing. Now adding on another command center just to make sure he can boost his economy and use the gases that are over here. Fight still happening here. Most of the vultures have been taken down. Raids are there in the mix as well to make sure that no shuttles can come flying in and unload Zealots up on the high ground. Same for Oregon. No dropships can come in, but that's a lot of Dragoons. That's a lot of tanks, and the tanks are pushing back. And it does look like Light's units that are up on the hill have been taken care of. But on the other hand, though, Light might pick up a couple of SCVs here with those raids, but there is an observer here, and the observer will uncloak or will detect the raids and force them, send them packing back home. And Light, knowing that the game at this point is not salvageable, but he can't fight this all alone, Not against a player like KenseiPark or a player like Piano. Mostly because it's a PvT against PvT, and the Terrans kind of cancel each other out by the time that there are tanks in there. And the Dragoons on top of that really put the leverage in favor of Piano and KenseiPark. Not a very action-packed, not a very technical game. A lot of micro though. But it was a very quick game where we kind of already knew the end result pretty early on. So I've got another game between these 4 players that I'm gonna look up right now and start casting. So in this second game, like in total they played about 15 games with random pro players tagging in and tagging out. And there's 2 more replays with Light, Jaehoon, Oregon, and KenseiPark in them. And I want to stick to just those, because otherwise I would have to add way too many names into the title. But this time around we do have 2 extra players in the mix. PF Jun, right here on the bottom corner of the map. And we've got Kong With from the clan With. Likewise, Jun is from the clan PF. So Kong here added to the team of Light and Jaehoon, whereas Oregon and KenseiPark are joined by their lovely friend Jun, who's playing the Protoss here on the bottom corner of the map. The production tab has kind of become a little bit large. Same for the what's it called again? The stats tab, unit tab, mineral tab, APM tab, whatever they call it. It has a name. I'm gonna check what it's called. Unit panel. They call it the unit panel. All right, the unit panel. No, it's not the unit panel. It's the statistics panel. Yeah, sorry for that one. So likewise, just like last game, both Light and Oregon playing the Terrans, starting off with a gas build into a barracks so they can go for the very early mech. Whereas all the other players, all the Protoss are starting out with 3 gateways on a 7-9 pylon. And this one should be a little bit more action-packed and probably a lot harder to cast as well. Because there's so many... Alright, there is the BM, the Bad Manner Pylon, trying to block the gas, but it doesn't really work, but it might slow it down by a little bit. Probe also trying to be a bitch. Oh, stupid probe, annoying probe. So both Light and Oregon are actually going for quite late factories. They didn't instantly make their factories. They went for a single factory, not 2, just 1. There might be number 2 here, coming up very, very soon. Looks like they delayed their gas by quite a bit. Goes for a bunker instead, so he can defend himself. No bunker for Light. And Light might end up regretting that if those zealots that are now walking in are going to be a pain. Quick look here. He's making a wall with pylons to keep Piano locked into his base. Zealot is just running circles. Bunker. No bunker. It's a depot. Zealot is just running circles, trying to distract. More Zealots are on the way, but Zealots are now fighting against Zealots because Kong is fighting against Jun, trying to deal some damage, while microing as well. He is responding very, very quickly. Not taking a lot of damage on his Zealot that is there all alone. Let's go for white versus blue. A lot of Zealots now here in the mix. The red team is winning this exchange. They might never mind if they turn the tide, because Light went for a lot of Marines, whereas Piano didn't really, and Piano was more or less sitting in his base, buying, not really, not the wisest choice. The Vulture is there though, and the Vulture is there also for Light, so now they're fighting on 2 fronts. So there's a wall here, they're gonna try to take down the wall, but first they have to tear through the pylon, and then those Marines behind it, and then the Zealots behind it. While the fight is happening here, Light is getting a lot of pressure on his ass because those Vultures are getting pressured by the Zealots. He even got a surround on them, but the Vultures eventually do manage to micro their way out of that sticky situation. But on the other side, though, he is losing his SCVs. Kong is trying to repel Jun, and KenseiPark Zealots there He's doing so quite well, but he did lose a couple of SCVs, whereas Piano did not lose any of his SCVs. On the hindsight, though, on the other side, though, the silver lining is Piano is still blocked into this corner. KenseiPark has his zealots there to help Piano, but the game is not really working out all that well for Piano, Jun, and KenseiPark. Kong. Wait, no. Oh, this is more confusing than I thought. So much going on. Right, so Jun is being chased away by Kong back into his base. While at the same time, Jaehoon is scouting the bottom spot. I think that's a mistake he's making there. I think he was trying to go for KenseiPark, but KenseiPark is here on the bottom corner. Whereas KenseiPark at the same time is trying to confront either Kong or Jaehoon, but his zealots getting cut off by those Dragoons. Dragoons being microed backwards, but a lot of units are also balling up here inside of Jun's base at the same time as that Kong is trying to micro backwards. Can he juggle both locations at the same time? It does look like he can. He's juggling it really, really well. Not a single misstep on the micro. This is some really, really high tier multitasking, although his minerals are not being spent at the same time, because honestly it's really difficult to do that at the same time. At the same time here, Jaehoon, Light, and Kong are progressing deeper into PF Jun's base. They're taking down some cannons, taking down some probes. The probes are there to wall off the cannons, but they cannot reach the cannons, but they are reaching the cannons nonetheless. But there's a lot of cannons there in the mix. So Light is just focusing on killing probes, which is a lot of economic damage here that he would not sustain. He's got Zealot lags on the way. He eventually does win the fight. Almost, because the vultures are still there hammering away on the cannon. So he goes in with his Zealots trying to repel the vultures. But at the same time, a fight is happening here because Piano now has his tanks, got a lot of vultures, and he's successfully managing to push out, although it is going to take some time. But a fight happening here in the middle as well because Kong is chasing those Dragoons from Kensei, whereas now Jaehoon is trying to go back and forth, not sure what to do because he lacks the amount of units. KenseiPark managed to get his Dragoons out of a sticky situation, but is now preventing Kong from going for the kill move on Jun. No, Kong goes back. I'm not quite sure. This is so much happening. Light trying to get a better foothold here on the middle, trying to keep Organ boxed in. With the help of Kong and Jaehoon, that might just work. Look at their bases real quick. I'm not going to say anything about their bases. I'm just going to let you look at their bases because... Alright, this is, however, something I'm going to talk about. KenseiPark is pretty far ahead of the curve with 34 probes, and he's got all of his tech up and running. He's got observers ready to be made, and he's got a robotics support bay as well, so he can start making reavers. There is the reaver. It's gonna be on the way, and he's gonna start pulling off some reaver drops, trying to kill off some of those workers of his opponents, and maybe turn the game around back into his favor. Dragoons there, a lot of Dragoons here trying to sneak in behind on Jaehoon, but Jaehoon walls it up with pylons really, really quickly. And now his Dragoons are caught in a corner where they cannot escape. He might try, but he's gonna have to fight this out no matter what. Fight here happening on the middle as well at the same time. Vultures, Dragoons, and tanks against tanks, vultures, and no Dragoons, but Dragoons might be coming in from the back. Nope, it's Dark Templars coming in from Jun. Jun is going for the Dark Templars. Dragoons here have been cleared out. More Dragoons are coming in through the front. He's got an Observer there in the mix as well. Reaver is almost finished, but he needs a Shuttle for that as well. The Shuttle is being queued up as well. Now Dragoons and Zealots are going in on Jun's base here, trying to get some damage done, trying to slow down his tech once again, while Piano is being pushed back into his base. But now more Dragoons are entering Jaehoon's base, and Kong and Jaehoon are trying to kill those Dragoons before they can deal any damage to anything whatsoever. Dragoons are technically being thrown away, but units are being traded for units, but Jaehoon comes out on top, although Kensei still has almost the highest supply. Still has the highest supply on his team, but Kong is propelling ahead really, really far. He's been playing this really, really solidly. Even though his worker count is lower than KenseiPark and Oregon, his unit count is really, really high. He's got a pretty big base, a lot of gateways there, and now adding on pylons just for the sake of having more supply space. So they managed to fight off Oregon, push him back into his base. At the same time, Kong is going for what does really look or seem to be an honest kill move, or a move with kill potential, because he can go in, kill the cannons, or just kill the Nexus, and that single Dark Templar won't be able to do much about it. It looks like Jun is out of the race. He's now pulling his probes in, trying to get us around on those Dragoons, but Dragoons simply pull away, knowing that they've got what they came for. At the same time, Reaver and Zealots have snuck their way in on Jaehoon's Nexus. So is this going to be a Nexus trade? Is he going to get the Nexus? Looks like he's microing the Reaver really well. The Nexus does not... does 1 HP. The Nexus had 1 HP. The Nexus survives, it does not go down, it stays alive, and now the probes of Jaehoon can retreat back to his own base, and his Nexus miraculously, honestly, an honest miracle. I've almost never ever seen a single HP on a Nexus. There was no shield, single HP. That's the closest I've ever seen. The Dark Templar that tried to finish it off gets taken down. Looks like this game is definitely going to be a win for Hotube, or well, Light, Jaehoon, and Kong, because they simply have so much more units out on the map. And Jun is in a really bad spot. Organ might be capable of turning this around with all of his tanks and his dropships if he manages to get close in on the workers of Light, but as long as that does not happen, this game is definitely in the back for the bottom team, or well, the blue team. So KenseiPark clearing out a couple of turrets there, trying to clear a path for a shuttle that's going to be coming in the near future, which he's got on the way, but it's going to take a while. Oh, wait, no, he got a lot of shuttles here. A lot of Zagoons being landed there up on the high ground, just to add in that 50% miss chance or hit chance, whatever you want to call it. The glass is full or the glass is empty. Units have been dropped here on the low ground by Organ instead of Light's base, but they very easily repel it because there's simply so many units from Kong all over the map, ready to keep him boxed in and kill any attempt and nip it in the bud. But once again, more units are being unloaded inside of Light's base. Dragoons and Zealots here on the low ground, just trying to do some damage to Light, but it's a very small amount of units. It's not going to do a lot, but the pressure is being applied. He is being kept busy, and the longer he's being kept busy, the more damage he takes. But Jaehoon successfully managed to fly 2 Reavers into Organ's base, and Organ has lost all of his SCVs that were on the minerals, and he's now trying to micro and keep those Reavers alive. He keeps the Reaver alive. The shuttle also stays alive at almost no HP whatsoever. But at the same time, it looks like KenseiPark managed to finally snipe Jaehoon's Nexus. It has been taken down, but he didn't get any of the probes. Kong now sees a chance, sees a window to go for the kill on Jun, but Jun has added on a lot of cannons. He might not be capable, but he might, however, be capable of killing this Nexus. But he decides to pull back because he knows that, or he feels that it's too risky. I mean, maybe he wants to regroup with his Dragoons first and then go in for the kill. Zed is now coming in to help assist Jun, but Kong was already pulling back. Shuttles are there. There's a Reaver in there and 6 Zealots. Once again, drops is being unloaded here. Yeah, he can find a good spot. He could have tried to unload on top of the tanks, but he would have lost most of the stuff he's got in there as well. So instead, he redirects and he's going straight for Kong's main, going straight for Kong's workers, or is he going to finish off Jaehoon? Kong balling up his units in front of KenseiPark's entrance, but KenseiPark has all those units up on the high ground that are doing a great job defending, but at the same time, Piano is going in for Kong. He wants those workers dead. He wants them dead really, really badly. Because if he manages to, this is going to be a turnaround, but he unloads right on top of the tank, right on top of the cannons. And there, all the probes have been pulled away. He does kill a couple of probes, but most of the probes stay alive, and the probes actually assist in killing the tanks. And that unload winds up being a failed attempt. And that might mark the end of the game. There's another drop is coming in here for Piano. He's got no anti-air here around his SCVs. He does have some units on the ground there, but a huge force of combined units from Kong and Light are walking through the entrance and clearing out everything that was there. Looks like Light is going to Piano. Piano is going to bite the dust here, after Jun has technically already bitten the dust. Drop coming in here, but drop goes down. He gets a storm, but he kills about a third. Another drop coming in here on Kong at the same time. Unloads the Zealots, going for the cannons. It's just Zealots, it seems. There's no Templars in there, it appears. No Templars in there, just going for the cannons. Trying to open up some... Trying to make it easier. Trying to clear out some of the defenses. Templars now on the way for Kong. He's got a shuttle there as well. Second shuttle there as well. So he's going for a storm drop to finish off either Jun or KenseiPark. KenseiPark has been relatively untouched. He's played this out really, really well. And he's honestly one of the best fastest map players for a good reason. Footnote, it's Mitchell Park. And it looks like Piano, Jun, and KenseiPark decide to give it up, leave the game. Because honestly, as soon as someone dies on your team, the game is pretty much as good as over. So yeah, this game was... I might have been a little bit too ambitious going for a 3 versus 3 with Korean pro players, because they just try so much non-stop movements and actions that you honestly almost cannot respond to in time all at the same time. Because you have to kind of like select one, talk about it, then go to another, talk a little bit about it. It's honestly a little bit difficult to do, but it's fun. It's fun to do my first 3 versus 3 cast. Chaotic, but entertaining and amusing. Very fast paced. Hope you enjoyed it. Look at this. Look at Lightspace. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. Same for piano. Absolute mess. Kong's got somewhat of a nicely ordered base. I like his layout. Space for cannons. Space for his tech right here. Gateways in groups of 3, you could say. This is a mess, though. Same here for Jaehoon. Somewhat of a mess, but less of a mess. Regardless, though, I just like SimCity. Like building a base, making it look nice, or at least functional. And this is a very functional base. Everything is pretty much a wall aimed at protecting the Nexus and the workers. Didn't work out in the end. Nonetheless, that's it. See you later.